Hi guys, what is the difference between being busy and being productive? So when we think of being busy, what comes to mind? Comes the sense of being overwhelmed, running, not having time for breaks. It's just a treadmill. There's nothing good in being busy. What's a sense of being productive? Productive sense. Sense of being productive is being in control, having a clear goal, having a clear vision, and accomplishing that goal on a regular, hitting that goal at when the time comes, or accomplishing milestones towards that goal. And the difference between being busy and being productive is in producing a value. What happens is when we're busy, we're not so much focused on producing a value, but we focus on the sense of being busy. And when we are productive, we're so much focused on producing that value that being busy is not as important for us. We're just hitting on producing that value. What happened is up until recently, when most of us worked in the offices, the sense of being busy was encouraged. There was a set of managers who derived some sort of pleasure, some satisfaction in seeing their team work. And for them, it was important that we all looked busy. And it was not as crucially important that we produce something of value on a regular basis. That part of work could slide under the carpet. As long as we looked busy, for some type of managers, that looked okay. But right now, as more and more of us are working remotely or working on our own businesses, on our own projects, producing value becomes crucial. So that's a clear difference, busy and productive. But I think there is another part to it that I used to forget a lot, that I didn't understand about the difference between being busy and productive. Because not only the work has to be valuable, but it also has to be valuable to me personally. It has to have a value to myself. Let me explain you what that means. Right now, for example, I'm making YouTube video, right? What's the value to me of making this video? I'm learning public speaking. You can see I'm still out of breath, but I'm becoming better. So learning public speaking is valuable. Producing a piece of content on YouTube that someone can benefit from, helping other people, maybe benefiting someone, it's of value for me as well. And I'm also creating a community of people who are interested in learning productivity. So that is of value to me. And overall, in the overall picture, I'm doing something that's valuable to others. I'm doing something that's valuable to myself. And this entire work feels like play, and I can spend hours doing it. I know what I'm working on, and I don't feel overwhelmed or busy at all. I'm feeling productive. Another breath. But if I were to rewind just maybe 10 years ago, I was in a different situation. I was extremely busy. I was working on something, but I did not feel productive at all. So back at the time, I was a plant biologist working in a lab, in a research lab. I was the best at what I was doing at particular area of research. And what I was doing, I was studying citrate transport in wheat roots. Wheat is a plant that we use to make bread, and learning how wheat works on a molecular level helps to create better crops, crops that produce higher yields and crops that are better at using fertilizers. So that project was extremely valuable to some people, but it had no value whatsoever for me, because at that time I realized I didn't want to be a scientist anymore, and producing another piece of research just didn't ring a bell to me. And as a result, well, for 3 years while I was working on that project, I felt busy, I felt overwhelmed, but I never felt productive. And I did manage to pull out one scientific publication out of that project, but I could have easily produced 3 scientific publications if I was productive rather than just being busy. What I'm inviting you guys to do is to look at the area of your life where you're feeling that sense of busyness, a sense of procrastination, a sense of feeling overwhelmed. Because once you look deeper and once you look at the values in there, there are 2 things that you're going to discover, one or the other. one thing you might discover is that there is a sense of value for you in that project. It's a sense of value that you were aware of at a certain point, but then you forgot about it. And once you rediscover that sense of value, you're going to move from the state of busy to the state of being productive. Ooh, I'm really anxious today. Bear with me, I'm coming with you. So that's one thing that could happen. And another thing could happen, once you re-examine your values, once you look in that project, in that area of your life where you feel busy, once you re-examine your values, you'll realize that there is nothing in it for you. There is a reason why you're procrastinating, because that project is not meaningful for you. Maybe someone asked for it, you to do it. Maybe your manager gave you a piece of work that you didn't want to do. Maybe your parents asked you to do it. Maybe you're pursuing a career that has no meaning for you. In the past, I tend to be a nice guy and I used to do things that were considered good, but again had no value for me whatsoever. And I felt that sense of overwhelm instead of sense of being productive. So there is another thing that you could discover. One thing you could discover that is good for you and get realigned and become productive. Or another thing you could discover is that that project has no value, so you can finally kill that project and start doing something else that makes you feeling productive. So, if you guys see a value in learning productivity, if you can see that learning productivity can make you better, there is a good news. There is a Facebook group that we're running. You can join in that Facebook group and become realigned with your goals and become better at living a productive, happy life. The link to Facebook group will be pinned to the comment section. Click on that link, request to join, and I'll see you on the inside.